Welcome to Solar Age, the podcast that shines a light on the path to a brighter, more sustainable future. Join us as we explore the transformative power of technology in creating a solar punk world.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Solar Age. I'm so stoked for this deep dive. We're about to explore something that's really close to my solar punk heart: battery storage. It's not just some techie thing tucked away in a gadget. This stuff is seriously exploding and could totally change how we power the entire world.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. We're talking about the fastest growing tech globally. And honestly, it's about to unlock some seriously incredible possibilities when it comes to clean energy.
Okay, so let's break it down. Just how big is this whole battery boom we keep hearing about? Well, get ready for this. In the last 5 years, the world's capacity for grid-scale battery storage, it's skyrocketed. From a tiny 3 gigawatts to a whopping 56 gigawatts. That's like going from a little AA battery to powering a whole city block.
And what's super exciting is it's not just about these massive projects. Take Tesla, for example. They're mega pack batteries. They're killing it. In fact, they actually have to sell 100 electric cars to make the same amount of money as they do from a single megapack. And they're deploying hundreds of these things for large-scale energy storage.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. So we got this insane growth happening. But what's fueling it? What's driving it?
Well, a bunch of things, actually. First off, the cost of batteries. Especially those lithium-ion batteries. It's plummeted. Like, we're talking a 90% drop since 2010. This is partly because of something called Wright's Law, which basically means the more we make of something, the cheaper it gets. And one big reason we're making more batteries, well, the electric vehicle boom, of course.
So it's all connected. More electric cars means a higher demand for batteries, which pushes the price down. And then that makes them more accessible for stuff like grid storage. It's like a perfect cycle. But it's not just about Tesla and electric cars, is it? This is a global thing, right?
Oh, absolutely. For instance, China. They're a major player in the battery game, producing over 75% of the world's lithium-ion batteries. Just last year, their production went up by 33%. And get this, that rate has recently jumped even higher to 47%. And it's not just the market doing its thing. The Chinese government is actually actively encouraging people to adopt batteries. They're even requiring new solar and wind projects to include battery storage as part of the deal.
That's awesome. It's amazing to see this kind of global energy building up around this technology. But you know what really gets me excited as a Solarpunk fan? It's how batteries can help us achieve that vision of a clean energy future where there's enough for everyone. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Oh, absolutely. It's where things get super interesting. One of the biggest hurdles with renewables like solar and wind is that they're not always available. You know, the sun's not always shining and the wind's not always blowing. But batteries, they solve that problem. They're like a massive energy reservoir storing all that extra power when it's abundant and then releasing it when we need it.
So instead of relying on those old fossil fuel plants to fill the gaps, we can just tap into the clean energy stored in batteries. It's like having sunshine on demand.
Yeah.
Even on a cloudy day. That's amazing. But it's not just a theory, right? We're seeing this happen in the real world already.
Precisely. A great example, Texas. They had that crazy heat wave back in August, record-breaking energy demand. But because they had ramped up their solar and wind power and they had battery storage, well, they managed to avoid those rolling blackouts they used to be so famous for.
No way. So they kept everything running, literally kept the lights on using sunshine and wind.
Yeah.
And it was all thanks to batteries. And wait, wasn't there a similar situation in California?
Oh yeah, for sure. Back in September, they were hit with extreme heat and wildfires, which really messed with their energy imports. And their natural gas plants weren't producing as much power. But you know what? Their grid-scale batteries came to the rescue. They helped stabilize those crazy electricity prices and actually prevented some serious emergencies. It really shows you how batteries are making a 100% renewable grid possible. But not just possible, it's making it practical too.
Man, that's what I love about the Solarpunk vision. It's not just about ditching fossil fuels, it's about building a whole new system where clean energy is so plentiful and so cheap that it changes everything.
You got it. And that brings us to a really important idea, the clean energy U-curve. The idea here is that instead of trying to perfectly match our renewable energy production to the exact amount of energy we need at any given moment, we should actually go all out and build way more renewable energy capacity than we think we need, so we end up with a surplus of clean energy. And then we use batteries to smooth everything out, storing that extra energy and releasing it as needed.
So it's like having this safety net of clean energy.
Yeah.
Always there when you need it. That sounds like true energy abundance to me.
It is. Think of it this way. The SWB superpower. Cheap, clean, and super abundant electricity, all powered by solar, wind, and batteries. It has the potential to revolutionize everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
And the best part is, this isn't just some futuristic fantasy. It's actually happening right now. And what's really cool is that it's a global movement. We've talked about China and the US, but what about other places? Where else are we seeing this battery revolution take off?
Well, believe it or not, Ireland is leading the way per capita. Their government has put some really smart policies in place, and they've made some really targeted investments. And it's made them a leader in battery deployment. And then there's Australia. They're rapidly deploying batteries too, driven by both the market and government incentives.
That's awesome. It's so exciting to see so many different countries getting on board with this tech. What about Europe? What's happening over there?
Well, the UK is really stepping up. They're actively removing any roadblocks in their regulations, and they're creating incentives to encourage people to get on board with battery storage. They're really trying to speed up their transition to clean energy. And then you have Germany. They're taking a slightly different approach. They're focusing on supporting residential solar plus storage systems, which is really cool because it gives individuals the power to be part of the solution.
Yeah. It's not just about governments and big corporations leading the way. It's about individuals taking control of their own energy future. That's a big part of the Solarpunk ethos, isn't it? Empowering communities and individuals to be part of this clean energy revolution.
Absolutely. And here's something important to remember. This isn't just about the environment. This is about economic opportunity too. Countries that embrace battery storage, they can really reduce their dependence on those unpredictable global energy markets. And it creates new industries and new jobs in the renewable energy sector. And ultimately, it unlocks the potential for all sorts of innovation and new technologies, all powered by clean, abundant, and affordable energy.
This is about building a better future. One that's both sustainable and prosperous for everyone.
Exactly. And that future is being built, one battery at a time.
This is seriously getting me pumped up. But before we dive too deep into the future, let's take a closer look at where these batteries are actually being used right now and what that means for the future of energy. Let's get into some specifics.
So let's dive into some of these real-world battery projects, the ones that are already making a difference. One that really stands out is the Edwards and Sanborn Solar Plus Storage Project in California. It's a perfect example of how solar and battery storage can work together in perfect harmony.
Oh yeah, that one's a beast. It went online just this past January. And it can store a massive amount of electricity. We're talking 3.3 gigawatt hours.
To put that in perspective, that's enough to power a whole small city for hours. And the really cool part is, it's built right next to a solar power generation facility. So it's capturing all that clean energy and storing it for when it's needed most.
It's like a clean energy dream team. And California is really leading the way in the US. They've got so many impressive projects. The Moss Landing Energy Storage Facility, the Gemini Solar Plus Storage Project over in Nevada, the Crimson Large-Scale Battery Energy Storage System, and the Desert Peak Energy Storage Project. These names are starting to sound like a superhero squad.
Well, they kind of are superheroes in a way, fighting for a cleaner, more sustainable future. And these large-scale projects are definitely making a huge impact. But the battery revolution is also happening on a smaller, more personal scale, too.
That's right. More and more homeowners are installing batteries in their own homes, like the Tesla Powerwall, so they can store the energy they generate from their rooftop solar panels. It's a way for people to become more energy independent and more resilient, too.
It's a really empowering trend. Imagine being able to power your entire home with clean energy, even when the grid goes down.
It's amazing. And it's not just individuals getting in on the action. Businesses are starting to use batteries as well to manage their energy costs and lower their environmental impact.
It's a true revolution, happening at every level, from individual homes to massive power grids. And as this technology continues to evolve, we're going to see even more innovative solutions popping up.
I can't wait. What kind of innovations are on the horizon?
Well, right now, lithium-ion batteries are the most popular type, but there is a ton of research and development happening in other areas. For example, sodium-ion batteries are looking really promising. They could be a cheaper and more sustainable alternative to lithium-ion.
Yeah, I've heard about those. They use materials that are easier to get a hold of, which is great for the environment and our wallets.
You got it. And there are other contenders out there too, like molten salt batteries and iron flow batteries. Each technology has its own pros and cons, so it'll be interesting to see which ones rise to the top in the coming years.
It's like a battery technology race.
Yeah.
And the best part, everyone wins, because it means a cleaner, more sustainable future for all of us. But, you know, this isn't just about the technology itself. It's about what this technology allows us to do.
You're absolutely right. It's about creating a smarter, more flexible, and more resilient energy system. And batteries are playing a crucial role in that transformation.
So let's bring this back to our Solarpunk vision. For our listeners who are passionate about creating a better world, why should they be so excited about this battery boom?
Well, for one thing, it means that clean energy future we've been dreaming of, it's closer than ever. Batteries are solving those limitations we used to have with renewables, making a truly sustainable energy system a real possibility.
And it's not just about the big picture either, right? This has implications for individuals too.
Absolutely. It means people can have more control over their own energy future. They can become more self-sufficient, less reliant on those big traditional utility companies.
That's such a core part of the Solarpunk ethos, empowering people at the local level.
Exactly. Imagine a world where you can power your entire home with your own rooftop solar panels and battery storage. You could charge your electric car with clean energy generated right on your property. And you could even sell any extra energy back to the grid, becoming part of this decentralized energy network.
That's incredible. It sounds like something straight out of a Solarpunk novel.
It really does, doesn't it? It's not just about the technology. It's about changing the way we think about energy, from passively consuming it to actively participating and taking control.
It's about building a more sustainable, more equitable, and more resilient world. One where clean energy is abundant and everyone has access to it. And it's happening right now, thanks in part to this incredible battery revolution.
You said it. And the best part is, this is just the beginning. As battery technology keeps getting better and cheaper, the possibilities are truly limitless.
Okay, so let's shift gears for a second and talk about what all of this means for our everyday lives. How will this energy revolution impact our communities and the way we live? All right, solar punks out there listening to Solar Age, let's get down to brass tacks. How does this battery boom actually affect you? This isn't some far-off sci-fi future we're talking about. This is happening right here, right now, and it has the potential to totally reshape your life, your community, in some pretty awesome ways.
It really does make you stop and think. If we're truly on the verge of this future, with cheap, clean, and super abundant energy, all thanks to the power of solar, wind, and batteries, how will that change the world around us?
Well, for starters, imagine a world where you don't have to worry about blackouts all the time. As we get more and more battery storage, our energy grids become way more resilient. Think back to those Texas heat waves we were talking about. Those could become a thing of the past.
And let's not forget the economic impact. It's huge. The regions that jump on board with this clean energy shift, they're going to see all sorts of new industries and jobs popping up. We're already seeing it happen in places like China and the US, where battery manufacturing is booming. But it's not just about making batteries.
Exactly. When energy is cheap and plentiful, it opens up so many possibilities. Maybe we'll see a comeback of local manufacturing powered by clean energy. Or maybe we'll see entirely new industries emerge, things we can't even fathom right now.
What I find fascinating is the potential for decentralization. With solar panels and batteries, people and communities can become way more self-sufficient, generating and storing their own energy. It could shift the balance of power away from those big centralized utility companies.
That's a huge part of the Solarpunk vision, right?
Yeah.
Empowering people at the local level. And it goes beyond just energy independence, too. Think about electric vehicles. As batteries become more affordable and more powerful, EVs will become more accessible for everyone.
And get this, as vehicle-to-grid technology develops, those EVs could actually become a part of the energy solution. They could store energy and then feed it back into the grid when it's needed, making the grid even more stable and resilient.
So we're talking about a future where our homes, our cars, even entire communities could become part of this interconnected, clean energy ecosystem. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It really is. And you know, it's not just about the tech itself. It's about the values this technology represents. Sustainability, resilience, community empowerment. It's about building a future that's both prosperous and sustainable. A future that works for everyone.
All right, Solarpunk Dreamers, time for a little thought experiment. We want to hear from you in the comments. If this vision of a clean, abundant energy future becomes a reality, how do you think it will change your life? What new possibilities might open up in your community? What are you most excited about? What are your concerns?
And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to explore in future deep dives, be sure to let us know. We're all on this journey together, and we can learn so much from each other.
If you enjoyed this episode of The Solar Age, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you won't miss any future episodes. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below about what resonated with you or share any ideas you'd like us to explore in upcoming episodes. Let's keep the conversation about a brighter future going.